All right, click the links, join channel here over at Subscribestar. Got a mailbox, want to mail me some comics. So I don't understand how it's politically incorrect to say that diversity is cancer, as is feminism too, and as it's shown in movies. I mean, and it's not selling. Like one is subjective, one's an opinion, fair enough. But to say it's not selling, that's objective. That's not an opinion. It's my opinion. It's all cancer, as is feminism, diversity and feminism. But other people, maybe they agree with me because this stuff is not selling, and you're not allowed to say that, or you just get dogpiled on social media if you say that diversity is cancer, and it's not something that people want to see in movies because the movies with those themes are not getting people to buy tickets. Why is that so difficult for people to say? Oh, hey, look, the shill media. What? The shill media? Yeah, and honestly, they're not doing them any favors by deflecting away from reality. So the title says, in case you're not looking at the screen, I turned my phone sideways, box of frogs, even though you're not a member anymore. I saw that. You think it doesn't hurt? It hurts. So can James Gunn's DCU still succeed as a cinematic universe amid the MCU fallout? No. Anything is like, can Hollywood do something good that sells? No. The answer is probably going to be no. The MCU is facing struggles at the box office and on streaming. Nice to see you finally admit it. And that's kind of if they're saying this, then it means that's an understatement. So can James Gunn new DC universe be doomed to fail before it will ever begin? Of course. Don't get me wrong. He's done a lot of things right, but the bloom is off the rose on this thing. So woke media covers for failing DC and Marvel, and this CBR article is painful to read. They acknowledge Marvel is effed in the A. And it is, as Disney owns Marvel. Hey, you own Marvel? Yeah. Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars. Wow, you guys should just be, money printer. Just the guy rolling the crank printing that money. I was like, how you guys doing? The toy sales got to be crazy, right? Filling up Toys R Us. Like, I think Toys R Us is out of business. Probably because these toys are not selling. I don't even know if they make toys. Hey, so the collectible figures for Star Wars. Yeah, the high-end figures. Yeah, we haven't made any. Oh, what? The Rose Tico doll? Yeah, it's actually no demand for a, high-end metal, like $1,000 or ceramic or something, like Rose Tico, or who's the chick, the Mary Sue character? I don't even remember. Daisy Ridley. No, that's not her name. Whatever, the Finn character, I remember him, and the other guy. It's like, yeah, not a whole lot of... So, like, Chewbacca and Han Solo, are they still selling? Oh, you bet your ass they're selling. So this is a rough article to read. To just see people, these article writers, they just get on their knees and they just, I don't know what they're getting. The thing is that's the thing is, a lot of these people, they're not doing this crap for money. Some of them that's why they're so desperate to be mods and get in positions of power, even if it's for very little money, to be editors in comic books and to write for these kind of shill media. And like the money, you're looking to be like, they can make more money doing something else. Yeah, but they need the power to control the narrative. Like, this really is an addiction to a lot of these people. So they acknowledge Marvel is a screwed, and they're starting to look at DC, Warner Brothers, and understand what the future holds for DC, and it's not bright. So they do this media damage control article to cover for the woke cancer Hollywood that is going to bomb. That's just kind of the future of Hollywood. And they mention many excuses and reasons, except that diversity is not attractive to the audience. We've got to normalize saying politically incorrect things. I would say much, much more if the YouTube algorithm would allow it. But they just don't. That's what the other platforms are for. So feminism, and the funny thing about Omegle and Odyssey is the government got involved in them. And next thing you know, Omegle is gone and Odyssey is owned by the government now, because those were free speech platforms where I guess some dangerous information was going out there. So feminism, vagina power heroes does not get butts in seats. The Marvels with Brie Larson and those other two sidekicks that nobody cares about. Made for chicks, right? Chick flick. Oh yeah, chicks don't like action adventure movies. What do they like? Mostly romance. Romance is going to be the core of like 90% of women's films that do well. Barbie, a little bit of an exception because it wasn't romance, but it was still two beautiful characters that women could envision themselves in. The thing is, it is inconceivable to them to even have this conversation. To go, yeah. People really hate diversity. It's just not something like you imagine you're sitting around a table with them. I don't know if you ever saw She-Hulk. There's a scene of She-Hulk where she breaks the fourth wall and goes to the writer's room. There's like a dozen writers who are all, physiogamy is real. The disingenetics of these people. Wow. And imagine you're sitting in this room with these 300-pound cat people, and you go, yeah, the diversity. The audience just does not tune into it. It's like they would all of a sudden the heads slowly turn to look at you and wondering like, where are you going with this? Yeah, we're just gonna move away from that. And they're like, what the hell is going on? That doesn't exist in their universe. That people really hate diversity, and you're looking out the writer's room and it's all diverse. It's like, are you saying people hate us? Whatever you're writing is not selling. And the more people talk about these politically incorrect things, you move the Overton window to the right as far as we effing can. So the only point of Hollywood to them is to push this propaganda, the Bolshevik Frankfurt stuff, the anti-white, anti-family, anti-nation, the grow the tall grass kind of theory. So if you tell them what the audience wants, they don't care because they just discount a large chunk of the audience. And keep in mind, it's like women are not seeing these movies, and the woke SJW toxic alt-left is not seeing these movies either, because there's enough left-wingers or right-wingers to make a left-wing or right-wing movie succeed. There's enough women to make women movies succeed. You saw it with the Barbie movie and probably a couple other movies. The left-wing movies could succeed if left-wing people went to go see them. They're not going to go see them. They don't see them. They talk about them on social media. They talk about them where it's free to talk, but they don't actually go pay the $17 to go see a movie, because that's, it's not just the money, because people will pay for good movies. That's the other copium excuse they do. They say it's like and then they mention the wooflet. It's like, it's all nonsense. People will pay for good movies, period. You're not giving them good movies. But Barbie wasn't a good movie. But that's what people will pay for. So if you're in the industry and you're trying to sell, it's like, but they're not trying to sell. They're trying to sell propaganda. Anyway, so they don't care what the audience wants, because they really don't. They view, but those are like terrible people, or like whatever, yikes, they need to touch grass, all that kind of nonsense. They didn't get into Hollywood to make movies for the audience. They're there to make globalist propaganda for Larry Fink. Yeah, how well did Ant-Man do? Not well at all. It just felt like all green screen all the time. And then there was a lecture in Ant-Man about this girl is in San Francisco, and she's talking to the cop, and it's just like 5-minute Antifa BLM lecture, and nobody wanted to hear that. So these articles never mention our points of view. And even to say that, they go, but you guys are all like Hugo Boss, Roman saluting or whatever? Okay, so tens of millions of people are all, that's your straw man version of the world, is because they disagree with you and they say diversity and feminism is cancer. Like, that's Hugo Boss. Like, that's a pretty low bar, buddy. But then you go, so why isn't the commie kids watching these movies? I don't have an answer to that. They just storm off in a huff, and they probably wish back to the days of flip phones, where they could flip that phone down and just clamshell it. Anyway, so they examine issues, but they start by excluding the possibility. And that was so satisfying, just to clip that phone. It just hits a little click. It's like Wolverine's claws coming out or something. You see the snick in the background. So they examine these issues, but they start by excluding the possibility that people hate diversity and feminism. So they avoid the truth and discuss superhero fatigue. And Biden's inflation. Congratulations for mentioning that. I mean, it's really Federal Reserve. You can go back to 1913. But because they really are drinking the Kool-Aid. Aquaman is coming out I don't know when it's coming out. I don't care. And nobody cares. That's the point. If you want me to see a movie, pay for the ticket, and I will go see the movie and review it. Disney Marvel bombing also hurts DC. It hurts all of Hollywood because it sucks the energy out of people who are considering seeing movies. They never admit that something like race swapping, that kills the story. Even to say that, it never comes up. Like, some of the audience are concerned that they don't want like race swapping. They don't want to see the characters changed. Oh, well, they're all istophobes. Okay, but they're also 50 million people with money who are willing to pay to see. Yeah, well, we don't need their money. Yeah, that's really where they are right now. Or that race swapping only goes one way and perpetuates an anti-white system of dehumanization by degrading the beautiful people of the light. See, we can talk like assholes also. They would never, that's all just Alinsky, Frankfurt kind of nonsense doublespeak. It's all based on appeal to emotion. They never actually prove anything. They start with a conclusion and they conclude with a conclusion, and they never actually consider returning the characters to what they were created as. Instead, they just slowly turn everyone black, and usually BLT, and they never turn a Mexican or Chinese or I don't know anything else. It's just specifically black. And nobody questions that because they'll get canceled by the woke Twitterverse, but they can't force people to buy movies. Not yet. I mean, eventually there'll be like a social credit system with a universal basic income and a central bank digital currency type of thing where they will be able to force you to watch woke movies, because if you don't, you'll probably get, lower social credit. And you think I'm kidding, right? I don't even think people care about anything from DC, Marvel, Star Wars, maybe even Hollywood in general. They seem comfortable actually killing $1 trillion industry to push Bolshevism. Shill media, which is all the media, is not doing Hollywood any favors. They refuse to discuss why we don't want Hollywood. So people are deflected away from why Hollywood is failing. Like I said, diversity is cancer, as is feminism. Things are so bad, even CBR had to admit it. So Barbie did well, $1.5 billion, which is, and the thing is, Oppenheimer did well too, but I think it was, the only reason I think it was piggybacking on the back of, I think it did like $800 million or something, on the back of Barbie. So that was kind of a weird set of circumstances. Yeah, I mean, it probably would have done okay anyway, but it was the weird combination of Barbie and Oppenheimer, which boosted both movies. Anyway, so this is why these two Barbie, you had like just super blonde platinum Ubermensch, just an Aryan stereotype on screen, where that brought in an audience where the affirmative action diversity Mary Sue hires didn't get an audience. What? And you tell that to them, and they go, oh yeah, we should remake Barbie, and we'll make them black and gay. But that's. Did you hear to anything I just said? No, we don't listen to you because that's istophobic speak. But it's what got people in the audience. No, it was just coincidence. Okay, I mean, I don't know what to say. Best of luck with this. Why do people love these blonde, godlike creatures and not the other type of movies? I mean, the streaming shows are where you really see it. What was that? God, I want to say Witcher. And what was that little Hobbit-like movie with Val Kilmer? Where they swap out all the characters, or Rings of Power. What the hell was the name of that movie? Rings of Power also was. I mean, it was in the 80s. That Val Kilmer was really funny. So they do a remake of it, and they swap out like, oh hey, all the characters are not, looks like it doesn't look like a small English village anymore. It did the same with Rings of Power. I mean, the weird thing about a lot of these shows is I noticed it in The Witcher, and in that big movie by the guy who did the Terminator, where the blue aliens are flying around and the evil blonde-haired, blue-eyed man has to go colonize the aliens. There's a scene in that movie, the first one, where a fair-skinned, blue-eyed person is attacking someone in a bar, and the guy has to go stop it. And they repeat that scene. I've seen that scene in a few. It was also in The Witcher, and it was also in a Rings of Power scene where they have a bar scene where they have to humiliate and degrade a blonde-haired, blue-eyed character, and in The Witcher it was a POC woman who had to come and beat him up, and in Rings of Power it was a POC guy who had to talk down to him, and in that movie with the blue aliens, it was a guy in a wheelchair who had to beat the hell out of the evil blonde man because blonde men are in bars. I mean, it's a weird when you see once you go down the rabbit hole and you put on the They Live glasses, you really look at Hollywood like, oh. The thing is, why do these people love these blonde, godlike creatures and not want these other type of, what's that, the Little Mermaid movie that remade it with, what's her face? The thing is, it doesn't matter why people love what they love. What matters is just what they pay for. If Hollywood got rid of all the non-European people and just made a fun movie, we're going to kill you for that. That's wrong think in a few years. There goes the social credit. I suspect that the movie would do well. But doesn't it seem odd that like 100% of movies are diverse, as if the creatures who are making these things are not really humans and don't understand what humans want? Are they actually lizards? I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Following that up with the people probably triggers the algorithm. So I'm going to leave that up to you to decide why they're doing these things. Yeah, if you made Fantastic Four look like this, you'd probably sell Fantastic Four. What'd you make Fantastic Four look like? We made it diverse. How'd it do? Lost money? So what are you going to do when you remake it? Going to make it diverse and gay. It's going to lose money? You bet your ass it's going to lose money, you Hugo Boss. Okay, I hope you guys will make it up in volume. I hope you guys do. I hope Hollywood continues to lose money. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all on Subscribe Star.